Welcome, dear friends, to Cardiac Radio at 11 p.m., nourishing our souls with the Spirit of Truth. The Spirit of Truth is a book that was psychographed by Waldo Vieira and Chico Xavier, two mediums, and a group of spirits came through them to deliver the extension of messages that were received in the gospel according to Spiritism and now are delivered by them. Today, the spirit Albino Teixeira comes to us to talk about compassion, one of the deepest senses of compassion, because he is going to be inspired on item 5 of chapter 12 in the Gospel according to Spiritism. Love your enemies, and they talk about discarnate enemies. And as Kardec says, spiritists have yet other reasons for being tolerant of their enemies. First of all, they know that wickedness is not a permanent state for humans, and that it is due a momentary imperfection, and that just as children correct themselves of their faults, evil people will someday acknowledge their wrongs and become good. Who doesn't need compassion? And Albino Teixeira today is going to present to us a new way of feeling. He titled this Our Brothers and Sisters, of course, and we retitled it Compassion because that's what he means. But let us see how he says it. He says, a thought of sympathy and love for our brothers and sisters who are recovering. Many of them are called criminals, but in fact, they are sick. They suffered soul imbalances, which they had in themselves like hidden diseases. Yes, they committed crimes, but today they are looking for your company, dreaming of renewal. They loved, ignoring that affection must be linked to the harmony of conscience, and they suffered terrible dryness in the labyrinths of shadow, sighing now for the dew of the light. They were stingy and withheld the bread from the hungry mouths of other people, but now they intend to re-enter the school of charity with you. They believed in an exception regime when pride would blow them the light. But after slipping into error, they take refuge in your faith, longing for renewal. They surrendered to temptations and were plundered in the trap of evil. But at present, they seek your eyes and squeeze your hands, longing to forget and start over. Do not look at their mistakes. Nourish their help. You wouldn't be encouraged to beat the head of somebody who was convalescing after the madness, nor would you cut the skin into recent scars. Yesterday, every one of us were seriously sick of the soul. So give thanks to God if you can already help, because if you have reached the degree of regeneration inside of you, you are certainly someone who has walked. You are in, and that's what he says. You're doing so because someone walked patiently with you with so much love to serve and enough courage to endure. None of us grow alone. None of us grow without the help of others. None of us. So Albino Teixeira is reminding us that if today we're able to help and we're not that imbalanced, somebody was patient with us and brought us along. Now it's our turn to be that patient, to bring people along. But usually we want things that are ready. But let us go to the list of mistakes that we incur committing crimes. It's when we confiscated material goods from other people who are in need. Now we need to do charity. Or in the name of love, right? But when we enter relationships of affection by creating pain and sorrow for others, there's no harmony of the conscience. We become people who need compassion. When we go through temptations, because let's make no mistake, the law is of action and reaction. So he begins by telling us today, let us think of being sympathetic, understanding, loving towards those who are recovering. They may need you. Sometimes it's a son or a daughter, a husband or wife, a mother, father, brother, sister. You never know. Now we're being asked to help, but don't look at the mistakes. Because if today we're not deeply imbalanced, we certainly were one day. That's a sure thing. In the past, as Albino Teixeira says, we were all seriously sick of the soul. If we are no longer, it's because somebody or some people very patiently waited and helped us with enough love to serve and enough courage to endure. They went through that, enough love to serve us, to serve God through us, and enough courage to endure. It's our turn. In the next 24 hours, we're being invited by Albino Teixeira to tell ourselves, I am born to love. I am born to endure. I'm born to love, to serve, and to endure. I'm born to love, to serve, and to endure. Let us visualize these statements and feel like we are singing songs of spring, the spring of the soul, when we are renewing ourselves. Let us thank God for the opportunity we have to love, to serve, and to have the courage to endure, being side by side with those who need our help so they can also regenerate themselves. We won't progress alone. We need one another. We want to thank you for being here with us at Cardiac Radio. Once again, this message is short, but it's deep and profound, proposing to us our inner betterment, loving enemies as we're learning to do. Thank you, friends.